Welcome, welcome. How you boys doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Doing great. It was a very interesting first week of football, boys. Thoughts?
Yes.
Agreed. Agreed.
A
It was
lot to take
disgusting.
away. Yeah, it was ugly everywhere.
Yeah.
It was ugly everywhere. There was some bright spots though. There was some bright spots. Um, anything big you guys want to talk about? Did we have anything big go down in the league? Trades? Had a couple waiver claims.
Had a significant injury, but it was after the game. But that was
Which
one
one?
of your guys. So
Oh, Jordan Love. Yeah.
yeah.
There was a couple
Top of my
overpays for waivers.
Malik Willis for $69. Is that what you mean?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe the $30 bid on who'd you get for $30?
Tyler Johnson.
Tyler Johnson, yeah. But honestly, they announced that Puka's going to be out for 4 weeks plus
Yeah.
now, so that might not be so bad an addition.
I thought somebody else would have saw his productivity, especially if you're watching the Lions game. But
Well, yeah, I bid on him, just $7. That was
I
all.
think I overbid. I thought I overbid on Alec Pierce. Initially, I thought it was good, and I've got as of right now, I'm glad I did because I beat out Lagendijk by $5. But I didn't come to realize he only had 3 catches. A 60-yarder, a
Yeah.
50-yarder, and then another.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
big long plays, which I mean, in his defense though, Anthony Richardson only completed 9 passes. So
Jeez.
still had 30
Yes,
fantasy
did.
points, right? Something like that.
Sure did. Hey man, I'll take it.
Um,
Yep.
Didn't help me
you
win,
guys
so
want
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Corey started 0-1 for the I don't know. I don't know that I've ever been in any league with you that you didn't start 0-1. So
Yeah.
I can't believe I
Yep.
picked you to win last week. Chaps my cheeks, man.
We should have known better. I think I picked myself to win too. So
Yeah, yep, you did.
I think we learned for next year. Just go ahead and pick me the loss in week 1.
Dude, I'm gonna note that. Note to self: don't pick Corey. You guys want to run right into studs and duds for the week?
Sure, man. Let's get it going.
You guys wanna do this? We'll do positional stud and dud, and then go around the table, or do you want to just one of us go through all of our studs each at a time, and then go
Do
through our duds? What do you
positional.
guys want to do?
Let's do positional.
Let's do
Yeah, I like that.
positional go around. Yeah.
Wesley, you want to start? Pick a
No,
position.
I don't.
Well,
Actually, yeah, I will. I wasn't ready at first, but now I am.
I'm ready now.
I forgot to do my wide receiver, but I figured it out.
Don't
And
start with them.
don't start with wide receivers.
Yeah, don't start with wide receivers.
I'm gonna start with tight end.
Okay.
So this is boom and bust from week 1, right?
Yes, sir.
yeah.
I'm gonna go. So what I had was pull this little guy over here. So tight ends, literally same team. Stud went with Isaiah Likely, stepped up. You know he was good last year whenever Andrews was out, but here Andrews was in and he hardly got even any attention. He was an absolute dud for someone who's supposed to be one of the top tight ends in the league when healthy. So that's where I went with that. Both from the same team, stud dud.
Good to me, man. I mean, likely 35 fantasy points in our league. We got a little tight end premium, but a lot of it came in the fourth quarter in garbage time. He had, I think, 5 targets on that last, hoorah that they had. But even if you take that away, he still would have had 20 fantasy points on the night, which I think that still would have been tight end 1 for the week.
Yeah.
So
It would have been by what'd you say it was 25, 20 points? It would have been still
yeah,
2 points ahead of the next highest guy.
exactly. Yep.
2.5 points actually, I think.
Yeah, and Mark Andrews, he was on the field a lot. Corey, I think it was you that I was talking to earlier, mentioned that Mark Andrews was on the field for like 74% snap count. 74% snap count. A lot of
Yeah.
it, he was,
A lot. 2
I
and
don't know,
3
man,
and
only
double
2
and triple
targets.
cover.
That'll happen. Who you got for the week? Studs and duds on tight end, Corey.
Well, I went the same stud, obviously for the most unlikely likely-o-meter, if
Mhm.
you will,
Yep.
to slightly steal something from another crew. But my dud was definitely one of my guys. It was Jake Ferguson, 3 catches on 5 targets for
Mm.
15 yards.
I could have went
Yeah,
Kelsey too, but
he definitely went. He hurt my feelings a little bit.
yeah.
I'm very upset
Yeah,
about
he didn't show up. Didn't
that.
show
No,
up,
he
man.
didn't.
I'll go ahead and jump in. My my tight end stud was my guy. I only went with this. There's a guy that I would have picked, but nobody started him. Kyle Pitts, #1 scorer in our league this week for tight ends that were started. Brock Bowers would have been my pick if I didn't pick Kyle Pitts, but nobody started him. Nobody started likely. So Kyle Pitts it
Yep.
is.
Yep.
He had not a great game, but a good enough game. 14 fantasy points was pretty good. And for my duds, dud for tight end, I picked the whole league. The whole NFL sucked this week, really, at the tight end position for the most part. Kelsey had a bad game. Mark Andrews had a bad game. Jake Ferguson. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Laporta.
Laporta was bad. Nobody showed up. It was like, I don't know if the league got together and said, "Hey, tight end university, we're gonna squash you out week 1," but I don't know. It was an ugly week for tight ends. So
Well, if it
um,
makes you feel any better about Pitts being a stud, that's got his 7th career touchdown now in his 4th season. So
that's right. Hey, game 1 too, baby. Hopefully we can
yeah,
keep this on a roll. I need him to show up.
if he gets
Um,
3 more, then that's his career high. So
that's right. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start since I was the last one in that one. I'm gonna pick quarterbacks, studs and duds on quarterbacks. My stud quarterback was QB1 on the week, 37.7 fantasy points, 289 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Mr. Baker Mayfield. Um, Darian would be screaming on this episode that he told me so because he is in love with Baker Mayfield. But shout out to Darian. Baker had a heck of a week, man. Heck of a week.
He's gonna go from
Um,
stud to dud this week. Let me tell
yeah, he's
ya.
playing Detroit. I hope we get after him, man. I'd love nothing more than to see him fail this week. Um, my dud for the week, he had a great percentage, 21 of 29 passing, but only had 164 yards and didn't throw for a touchdown. Joe Burrow. Um, good
didn't have
completion
anybody to
percentage.
throw
Not
to,
mad about
man.
that, but that's true. There's the fantasy production, fantasy wise, wasn't a good week. So that's my dud for the week is Joey B.
Yeah, Burrow not Chase not being healthy kind of hurt that a little bit.
Higgins being
Yeah,
gone, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Not being
yeah,
healthy.
I like it. Yeah,
yeah.
um. Oh,
What, he had an illness, dude. COVID
quarterbacks.
got him. I don't know.
I just feel like the illness, right? I mean, Tyreek Hill got arrested before the game and still showed out. Come on, like,
What did I
Yeah,
say? I said he's either gonna have a crappy game or he's just
you
gonna go
did too.
off.
Yeah, you
yeah.
did. You did.
Um, Corey, did you do? So we got stud. Who'd you have stud there again?
I picked one of my guys for a stud this time. Was Anthony Richardson. Yeah, he did only complete 9 passes on 19 attempts.
Yeah,
Two
man,
passing
that guy's
touchdowns
got
and
an
one
arm.
rushing touchdown. Yeah, he actually would have had 3 passing touchdowns had he not overthrown somehow Adonai Mitchell on that wide
Yeah, that
open
was a tough
touchdown
one.
downfield. That was,
That was a tough one.
yeah, that was. I was like, oh man, like I got a lot more excited than that, but
Yeah.
it's late. So, um, yeah, for a tune of 30.1 fantasy points, it's gonna have to clean up that efficiency a little bit. More incompletions and completions, but for I think it was 212 yards. But then my dud, Sunshine, Trevor
Oh
Lawrence,
Mm.
yeah.
12 of
Yeah,
21,
bad week.
162, and a tutty. However, I think we found our new wide receiver one in Jacksonville, though. So Brian Thomas
Yeah,
got plenty
Brian
of targets.
Thomas.
Mhm.
Yep,
Looks
plenty of
good.
targets. Big
Looks
target share.
good. Yep. Yep.
I definitely
So
scooped him up on a couple leagues. That's for sure.
not here. Not here.
Just saying.
Yeah,
Not
you're
up in
not
here.
getting him here.
Oh yeah. So I went same route with the quarterback, and I went with my guy. I went with Josh Allen. Didn't start off too hot. I was a little worried when I was initially looking at his stats when the game started. Saw he got the fumble he lost, but he ended up coming back like Josh Allen does. 18 for 23, 232 yards with 2 touchdowns in the air, 9 attempts, 39 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns on the ground. 35. What is it? 35.18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
Not bad.
QB swole. I mean,
Yeah,
Josh Allen,
QB
Lamar
swole, baby.
Jackson. They both can
If
do it
I-
in the air and on the ground.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It was Josh Allen always shows out though, man.
Yeah.
You never count him out. He's like the new Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
It'd be a shame if you had a lead in that fourth quarter.
All right.
We're gonna come back and take him from you.
And then for
Till the
my
playoffs come around.
my
Yeah.
dud, Kirk Cousins, man. I thought, he's got so many weapons, and I'm sure, like Sal told me earlier, something to do with ACL. He's probably not 100% like comfortable and like in his own skin and being out there, and
Yeah.
he's probably a little scared, kind of like how Stafford looked in the first couple drives of that game against us. But 16 for 26, 155, but he's got the one TD, but 2 picks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, he's not.
you could tell he's a 36-year-old man that's coming off an HLA's tear, man. I mean, he looked old and he looked fresh off of
Well,
an
that and
injury.
he
So
didn't play any. He didn't play any snaps in preseason with any of the starters. So
that's
Yeah.
absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
I
Yep.
think
not to defend my guy anyway, but still, you could definitely tell.
I think he might
None
have,
of us. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think he might have a rough first 3 weeks, but I
Yeah.
think when he plays against New Orleans, I think he might New Orleans and then Tampa. I think he might have a pretty good game week 4 or 5. 6 definitely Carolina.
Yeah.
Carolina.
If I may,
else.
I do have an honorable mention for a stud at QB.
Okay.
Everybody's favorite, easily to be replaced, easily replaceable, replacing Caleb Williams as the number 1 pick. It should have been Jaden Daniels.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
I mention that
yeah.
every single day that Sal has him, and infuriates me. In fact, 17 to 24, 184 in the air,
Oh
16 carries, 88 yards and 2 tutties.
Yeah.
yeah. How many? You
Immediately
said.
broke the record. 2.
Ooh.
Immediately broke the rookie record for rushes in his first start as a quarterback.
I'm excited to start him this week. I'm excited.
He should
Wesley
be.
thought that he was going to be
He's
feeling
playing
good
the
about it
Giants.
once he saw him in that starting lineup, but it's making him nervous, man.
It should make you nervous.
I'm
I
not
got an
sweating,
honorable
but it's
mention
pretty
for
cold down
dud.
here.
I got an honorable mention for a dud on the week. Just because we all watched it. Well, Corey, you didn't, but it was he almost lost the game for us. Jared Goff. I think he was 18 of 28. He had 200 yards. Threw an interception in the fourth quarter. Then threw another interception that somehow magically got dropped. He would have absolutely
fit the
single-handedly
script, man.
lost us that game. It was rough. But in his defense, this is a Lion. I love all my Lions guys. In his defense, we played nobody in the preseason. This was his first real game reps on the season.
Right.
I think he's going to clean it up. But man, that second interception, I was ready to punch a hole through a brick wall. I was like, you cannot be serious
I
with
think
this.
Sean
Game
McVay-
1?
I think Sean McVay literally his defensive scheme was to cover Amon-Ra St. Brown with every fiber of your being, because he
Yeah.
tried forcing
he
that
did.
into him.
Yep. Corey, you're up to pick one. We've got receivers and running back.
Let's we can do receivers. That's my favorite position.
Okay. That's
Um,
We'll leave that one alone.
so my stud, and it should be. It was too easy for you guys to pick, so I hope you didn't pick him. Was Cooper Kupp.
Okay, I almost did, but I didn't.
14 to 21, 32 fantasy
21
points.
targets. Dude.
21
targets.
ties. I think that ties a career, not a career, like a single game record for targets.
Yeah, that's
or
nutty.
come close.
I didn't realize he had 2 rushing attempts.
And he played 100% of offensive snaps.
Wow.
I hope he can
outside
keep that up,
quarterbacks do
honestly.
that?
I hope he can keep that up. Fragility has been a problem with him. Not fertility, fragility. He's been fragile in his career. Yeah, I hope he can. Is that a word? I don't know. I'm using it. Fragility. I hope he can stay healthy through the season. So
That's fine.
dud. Who's your dud?
And then my dud shouldn't have happened because everybody thought this guy was going to be they were going to contend for the Super Bowl already. It was DJ Moore catching passes from Caleb Williams. 5 of 8 for 36 yards. It's 4.5 yards a target.
I had him on
Absolute
like a few
travesty.
teams too.
You know that does remind me.
I'll buy them from you if you want to sell them.
Do I have him on our? Yeah, I do have him on this league. No,
You
I'm
do.
gonna hold on to him.
I
Hoping that's
I I don't want to circle back to quarterbacks, but we got to add in another dud since you mentioned him. Mr. First overall pick, the only
too
starting
easy,
quarterback
man.
he finished ahead of this week. The only starting quarterback he finished ahead of this week, Daniel
Kirk
Jones.
Cousins. Oh, Daniel
Daniel
Jones.
Jones, dude. Buddy was QB 32 on the week.
Yeah.
Barely scored more points. Are you ready for this one? Than Taysom Hill.
Man.
14 of 29 for 93 yards. Less than 50% completion percentage for 93 yards. He got sacked a million times. That was tough. Anyways. Wesley, you
Yeah.
want to go or you want me to go on the wide receivers?
I'll go. That way you don't pick my guy, because it's quite obvious. Jaden Reed, Jaden Reed.
Yeah.
Dude, I would never have thought he would have been
Imagine
the biggest
trading
guy
Chad
for.
Smith and Jalen for Jaden Reed.
Dude, I don't
I
blame him
said
though.
that.
I mean,
I know.
look at dude. They had. I thought for sure Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs would be the 1-2 guys there. Jaden Reed, I thought Jaden Reed was in the same seat as like Datavion Wicks. I thought they were like
Yeah.
3A, 3B.
You got to remember, it's just week one, right? So, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
we don't want to overreact, but my goodness, if there was ever a time to overreact, I think it's now. That was,
Yeah.
You know,
but he was on fire.
my dad is one of my guys. DK Metcalf.
Yeah. What happened?
88% of snaps, 4 targets, 3 receptions, 29 yards.
Mm.
I don't know.
That leaves a sour
Uh,
taste in the mouth.
I think
Geno Smith in
Surtain.
the offense.
I think Surtain was covering him though, so
That's part of
I
it.
think he'll bounce back
Naturally.
against New England.
Yep.
I can see that.
So
He's too big to be talented not to.
yeah.
So I would be, I got to mention it since we're here in the wide receiver sections. Shannon gave us, he called them a smoke show and a poop pile. A smoke show and a poop pile. And Shannon's smoke show came from the wide receiver section. It was also Jaden Reed. He's actually the guy that traded away Jaden Reed. I would be sick to my stomach telling the league that this is the smoke show of the week after I just traded him away like that. But
I think
he did.
a week late.
Yeah, his smoke show was Jaden Reed. So I'll go ahead and tell you my wide receivers. I picked 2, and really one of them was a stud, and another one is just a guy I think we should watch out for. It was a very interesting situation. I don't think it'll ever replicate, but something to monitor. My stud was Jameson Williams. Had a phenomenal game.
Wait, did you say
he
you
had,
don't think they can replicate it?
Not him. It's the other guy. I think I hope Jamo replicates this.
He will.
24.4 fantasy points, 121 yards. He had the touchdown that he caught from Jared Goff, where
Corey left.
I think he's still there, but
Yeah, he is.
he must be walking away for a second.
Here.
Anyways,
I'll be back.
okay, yeah, no problem. He had the one reception where Goff launched it to him. There was a pass interference. He got away from the pass interference and still slowed down and still caught the ball and then ran for a touchdown. He's just so fast, man. He had a great game. And then my honorable mention for wide receiver, Ray McLeod. I know that sounds crazy. 7 targets. Had the highest target share in the Atlanta offense this week. Not a name that you ever really hear, but that's a name to monitor going forward. He had twice as many targets as Drake London. He had more targets than Kyle Pitts.
Okay, he's on Atlanta now?
He's on Atlanta,
I
yeah.
remember him being in Pittsburgh forever, just as a special team.
Oh yeah, yep.
Returner.
Oh. Yeah, so I thought that was ironic. I think he was their number 1 guy. So on the week, which made me sad. Obviously, I've got Pitts and I have Drake London. Drake London put up a dud 3 points, but
did I trade you?
Anyways, no, I think I drafted him. Sure. Maybe not. No, you did for Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill for Drake London in a first. Yeah. Thank you, by the way. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Moving on to my dud. A guy that I made an offer on earlier today and offended the owner. My apologies to Richard's co-owner for offending you with that offer. Marvin Harrison Jr. was my dud for the week. 3 targets, 1 reception, 4 yards, 1.4 fantasy points.
Not for the lack of being wide
ouch.
open, though.
Ouch. He was wide open on one play for sure. At least one. He didn't perform. You expected him to. You took him with the probably number 2 overall pick. Almost in every league, I would imagine, if it's a super flex, and the number 1 pick if it wasn't super flex. As far as dynasty leagues go. And he puts up 3 targets for 1 reception on 4 yards. It was ugly. It was bad. Full disclosure, I offered T. Higgins in a first, so I don't think it was that offensive, but take it for what it is. The Corpy's first at that, all right? Let's
Which is going to be
let's not
like
forget,
the
all
7th
right?
overall pick.
Yeah, at worst.
Corpy's got a stud team.
He's 0-1 right now. We'll see what he does to his team. There's a lot of season for him to screw it up.
I mean, there is, but also
I love you, Corpy. I'm just
he's got some
picking.
guys that can put up some solid numbers.
He does.
No, he's got. I was looking at him when we move on into the picks later. I was looking at his team and I was like, man, he's actually projected the 2nd most points this week. So his team is good. It just didn't perform last week. So there's our studs and duds for the week. Oh, we still got one more section to go. Wesley, you want to kick us off with running backs?
How about that? We got a witch cackling in the background.
Join the show.
Oh my gosh.
Come on in, Mads. We're ready for you. Yeah, welcome.
Sorry.
They said, "Come on in, Maz. We're waiting for you."
So running back stud, I went with Joe Mixon.
Wow.
Hopefully, yeah, yes. My big thing about Joe Mixon is, I never knew what to expect with him in Cincinnati, but he's with the Texans, new team, and he came out running. Well, he did have 30 attempts. He still had a 5.3 yard per carriage.
I didn't realize he had 30 attempts.
30 attempts, 159 yards, and a touchdown. 3 targets, 3 receptions, 19 yards. So 26.8 fantasy points. So
yeah, dude, he got abused.
Yeah, but
abused. I would
hear about that
expect to see that about that almost every week.
The dud got 54% of the snap count, 6 attempts, 14 yards.
Emotional, damn it!
Chubba Hubbard.
Yep.
The whole team had a dud week, so that was kind of an easy pick.
Fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the owner's
I'm gonna go
fault,
next.
right?
No, it's
I'm gonna go next
fault.
on running backs.
Go for it.
Go for it.
I didn't hear you name it. What, Corey? If you were gonna name this guy, I apologize. So, I got 2 guys. Stud. I split it into 2. A guy just like I did with J-Mo and Ray McLeod. My stud, and then I had a guy to watch out for. My stud was Jordan Mason, sliding in for Christian McCaffrey, absolutely dominating the game. 22.2 fantasy points, 150 yards rushing. He had like 25 carries. He had a lot of carries, but man, 150 yards rushing. He only had 1 target, but he dominated. He dominated against that Jets front. I expected their defense to look better, and it wasn't good.
I feel partially responsible for Christian McCaffrey missing the first game, because I definitely said something in our last meeting, didn't I?
Yeah. Well, not to mention, and the fact that you did mention it, and he obviously is on the cover. And now it came out today that he has Achilles tendonitis.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to miss.
You have ever had that before? It's not a quick recovery, and it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But
yeah, uncomfortable. Ugh. My split. So my guy to watch out for. Tank Bigsby. He only had like a 34 or 37% snap count. ETN did not play well this last week. They had a dead even split. Both of them had exactly 12 carries, and the target share wasn't very big. And so I was actually surprised ETN performed as poorly as he did. I've got him in a couple leagues. Actually, that league that we drafted together, Wesley, I got him there in the 3rd round. I think I thought it was a steal. Week 1 does not look like a steal.
Right.
It looked terrible. But yeah, Tank Bigsby, he had a great game.
Overreaction Monday, right? Overreaction Wednesday.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
It could be
Yep.
completely flipped next week with everybody.
Yeah. Yep. Bigsby had 12 carries, 73 yards. That's really good. I was excited about him when he came out of college. He was behind Bijan in college. I thought that he would do a phenomenal job once he came into the league. Was it Bijan? No, it wasn't Bijan, was it? No, I'm drawing a
No.
blank.
Ooh,
Who was Tank Bigsby behind in college? No, it was Texas. But it was before Bijan got there, wasn't it?
Is it Roshan
no,
Johnson?
Bigsby was at A&M.
Roshan Johnson was behind.
Yeah. It was
Roshan
okay.
Johnson
A&M.
behind Bijan?
Yeah, it was
Roshan was
Roshan.
at A&M, yeah.
Forgive me. But I was
Don't know how they
excited for
pulled
Tank
that out of there.
coming out of college. And, yeah, geez, good for you, man. But yeah, so Tank, I've got you watch out for Tank, and let's see, my dud, I had Jonathan Taylor. He scored 10.8
Thomas?
fantasy points in a PPR. What's that?
Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
Yeah,
ATT,
Jonathan,
baby.
Jonathan Taylor. 10.8 fantasy points, 16 carries for 48 yards, and he saved the day with a touchdown. He had that many targets. That many targets, man. It was.
Yikes.
I love it.
Yeah, it was not good for him. So I expect him to pick it up this week, but that is my dud for running backs, Jonathan Taylor.
It's a good one. I like it. My studs, I actually have three. I have three wide receivers, but I left the other two out, mostly for time's sake. But for running backs, my stud, I struggled a little bit to try to not pick the guy that's on my team who also sat on the bench,
Here we go.
similarly to
Oh,
all the
boy.
good tight ends who were on the bench. It was
That's right.
J.K. Dobbins. 10 carries, 135 yards, and a tutty.
I almost picked
I
Gus
think he had
Edwards as my dud.
I think he had 5 targets and 3 catches or something like that. It wasn't very effective, but it is a Harbaugh offense.
I was about to say that's Jim
Um,
Harbaugh.
Harbaugh and a Greg Roman
Yep.
offense. So if there's anything that they're going to do, is run the ball. And yeah, Dobbins was assisted by that 66-yarder or whatever, 80-yarder near at the end of the game, kind of to ice it out. But that was we never questioned that Dobbins could do it.
Oh, right.
It's how
Staying
long
healthy.
can he stay
Yeah.
healthy to do it?
Right.
So, and then he ended up getting a game ball from Harbaugh in the locker room after the game, which was
Good for him.
I don't know if I'd be
He
I don't know
deserved
if
it.
I'd be able to do it. Yeah.
Well deserved.
And then my dud, who I think almost everybody in the league tried to acquire from the current owner, and I think no, from the previous owner, was Najee Harris, 20 for 70, and nothing.
None of those running
Right.
backs did well for Pittsburgh, did they?
It was bad. No, it was not
Jalen
good.
Warren, did he even?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what
Did he?
I don't have that out, but I know. I definitely
He
expected.
had 2
I mean,
attempts for 7 yards and 2 receptions for 13 yards.
yeah. So I think we figured out
4 points. Oof.
who Arthur Smith wants to use.
Justin Fields.
Yeah. So
He ran the football a lot.
sure
A lot.
did, yeah. Yeah.
Like 18 times, I think I saw, right?
Yep. I think that's right. 18 times sounds right. 18 or 17. But that whole offense as a whole looked not great. Again, it helps when your starting quarterback takes all the
14.
reps
I lied.
in practice and in preseason and stuff like that. But then neither one of them really played that much in the preseason. And Fields, when he
Yeah.
did, it wasn't with the ones.
He had
So
17 completions.
yeah. Hey, last year his first 4 games, I think that's more completions Sunday than he did attempts in the first 4
I was
games
gonna say
last
that
season.
might be more completions than he ever had attempts in a game last year.
In a game last year. So yeah, it was not great. And then real quick, my honorable mention that I don't think either of you mentioned. You probably I know you had it written down. Sal was Ramondre.
Yeah, yep.
Made the Bengals. It was Bengals, right? Look awful.
The Bengals
25
made the
for
Bengals look
120.
awful, brother. But yeah,
Yeah. So
The Slim Shady.
Yeah.
Real Slim Shady.
that was a great mention
yes,
there.
I heard you. I'm
I'm unavailable.
sorry about that.
So those are our studs and our duds for the week.
Yeah.
The poop pile. Shannon's poop pile. Anybody want to know about Shannon's poop
I
pile?
do.
mean, come on.
I think this should be a weekly thing.
You guys want to hear about Shannon's poop pile and Shannon's smoke show
do.
every week?
Every
Alright.
week.
Let him know if he doesn't make an appearance, so we can at least get the smoke show and poop pile out of him.
Yeah.
It's Zamir White. Zamir White is his poop pile for the week. He had a
Who?
terrible week. It's Zamir White. Oh, he had a terrible week. Terrible week. I think he had 7 fantasy points on the week. I was really fired up about him
A lot of people were.
coming into the season. I drafted him in a couple places. I was gonna make an offer on him in this league. Man, I'm glad I didn't because
I did make an
Week
offer
one
and
was
it got turned down. So. Yeah.
Did Madison
Be
get
great.
the carries there?
they
He
both
got
were
the
trash.
targets.
I think he got the
Madison
targets. Yeah,
Madison was
surprisingly.
aided by targets. Yeah.
Yep.
31 yard, I think, touchdown.
Yep, 4 receptions for
Something like
43 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Yep.
5 attempts for 19 yards. Okay.
Yeah. I guess that's a backfield to monitor going forward. I mean, one of them's got to score decent amount of fantasy points. They both aren't great RB1s. It was week 1 for Zamir White as RB1 though, so we'll see. That offense is.
Whenever Dalvin Cook was out, Madison jumped right in and he was Dalvin Cook. It was like you never missed one out.
Except for when he had to start the game.
Except for when
It
he
seems
started.
like when he was.
I
when
was
he
preaching
would-
that for years in previous leagues, man. Like he's amazing when he comes in to relieve Dalvin Cook if he's hurt. But if he's
Guy would average
named
like
the
8 yards a
starter,
carry.
the most inefficient player ever.
Terrible. So that's our studs and duds for the week, including Shannon's smoke show, in addition to Shannon's poop pile. Shannon's poop pile might be my favorite thing that we have so far on this show.
For sure.
100%.
Best
we can
thing
go.
though is that Rodrigo jersey in the back.
Yeah, you like that Rodrigo jersey?
Yeah.
That's my boy. Hey, gentlemen, he played a lot this week, and he made a couple big plays.
I saw Jack
I'm a big
Campbell
fan.
get a couple tackles too.
This autographed jersey, my sweet Corey Lambie.
Oh yeah.
That's Kirby Joseph. That's an autographed one.
Did you see the meme I posted in our Facebook?
Yes, I did.
That was awesome.
That was amazing. Yep.
Oh.
So that's our studs and duds for the week. Special shout out to Shannon for his smoke show and his poop pile.
Yeah. For
We're
sure.
always here to
Can't wait
sniff on the
see that
poop pile, buddy. Yeah, I'm
As long as
excited.
he doesn't pick any of my guys for the poop pile, we can still be friends. Shannon, I'll come after you.
That's right. Doss was the target for the poop pile this week, so with Zamir White. So we can go right on next for us. I've got last week. Yeah, last week's picks, and then we can go into the matchups.
Go for it. You have those stats. You're keeping those, right? All season.
I'm keeping track for the season, for what our records are between the three of us.
Cool.
And anybody that jumps on the show with us, whether it be Corpy or if it Shannon jumps on or Darian, anybody in our league.
Special guest pickers.
Special guest pickers. Even if we've got somebody's been watching the YouTubes and they want to get in on the action, I mean, we might do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Keep track. So, anyways, last week, Corey copied every single one of my picks because he's a loser. I took.
Well, you never let me pick first.
Oh, don't. Please pick first this week every time. All right, no. I picked me to beat Richard. Wesley took Richard. Corey took me. I won. Moving to Corey and yeah, that was the closest matchup of the week. Moving into the Corey and was it Darian matchup? Corey and I both took Corey. Wesley took Darian, so Wesley was the sole winner on that one. All three of us took Wesley to win. All three of us took Quinn to win, and all three of us took Lagendijk to win. So we all ended the week with a 4-1 record.
It's a good start.
Kudos to us, boys. We did good. I don't
wait.
think it's going to be that easy going forward. I think we've got this week.
I'm gonna fall apart here.
As I'm looking at the games, like 8-point spread, 1-point spread, 8-point spread, 3-point spread, and then a 15-point spread. These are
significantly more balanced than any league we've been in together in the past.
Oh, I strongly agree.
That's the nice thing about this fresh start, man. Somebody might fall apart, and dynasties are tough. Don't get me wrong. I remember when I first jumped in, I had Adam Thielen, and I traded him away right away, and I think I started to fall apart immediately.
Yep, it happened.
What matchup we want to do first, fellas?
I've got Corey and Shannon written down. You guys want to go through
Yep,
that one? I'll
that's
let
what
you
we're
guys go. I'll read what I've got here, and then I'll let you guys make your picks first. We can kind of rotate first. Corey, it's your game, so we'll let you go first.
There you go.
Corey versus Shannon, both are 0-1. Corey is predicted 133-3. Shannon is 134-5. So there's a 1.2 point spread in favor. of Shannon.
I'm actually going to pick Shannon here again.
Okay.
Shannon to beat me, so I start the season 0-2, mostly because the difference maker is actually going to be my availability of Kenneth Walker. He already missed
Oh,
practice
yeah.
this week.
Yeah.
He's got an oblique injury and something else with his ankle, I think.
Banged
I
up,
do
man.
already have my auto subset in for Eckler.
I don't even know how to do that
So
still. No clue.
it's
We'll
so
teach you, buddy.
it's really easy. But yeah, I do have Shannon beating me by this is the only one I picked one. He's actually going to beat me by like 25.
Oh,
He's the
wow.
only
You
one
guys
I
make
picked.
let your picks
Crazy.
fall out?
That's
I'm gonna
so
get
crazy.
crushed.
I get to go next, right? Okay, go. Did you
you
pick
pick my game?
players?
What's that?
Did you pick any players to watch out for?
It just Walker's availability.
That's it.
That's
Okay.
like if
That's it.
he
I like
loses, if I lose him, I think I'm completely. That's what's going to give the 25. If he doesn't play, I'm going to lose by 25.
Okay.
Okay.
So I went way opposite side here. So I went. So J.K. Dobbins at Carolina. I think he's going to have a huge game. Versus Brian Robinson versus New York Giants. Also think he's going to have a huge game. So whoever has the bigger game there. Plus St. Brown versus Tampa Bay's beaten up secondary. I feel like he's going to have a revenge like from Week 1's game because he's not happy when he doesn't get targets. He doesn't get receptions. Versus another Charger, Lad McConkey.
Oh, man.
Yeah, whatever. How do you say his name? Probably spelled it wrong on my screen here, but
That's it. Lad McConkey.
yeah. And so what I
Whitest white boy ever.
actually said. Let me go to your guys' actual matchup here. League, where's league? Here we go. I actually said this is going to be. I think this game's going to come down to running back matchups. Like you said, Walker. Yeah, I have that on there too. Dobbins, Walker. And then he's got, Bijan and Brian. And I said, I think Corey actually will run away with this one early. And that Kirk Cousins' points on Monday won't even matter.
Yep. Good pick. I like it.
I appreciate that.
So Corey went Shannon, Wesley went Corey, and my pick, I'll let you guys know, it came down to, for me, the play of Amon-Ra St. Brown and J.K. Dobbins. If Amon-Ra shows up, that's really important. He didn't show up this week. I think he will now. There's just too much. There's too much Detroit Lions. I think Tampa Bay is going to try to stop the run more than the pass because Jared Goff looked bad and the Lions' run looked phenomenal. So I think they're probably going to live and die by Goff, which I think will be a mistake. I think he'll be better this week. Then J.K. Dobbins, can he replicate what he did last week? I think he can if he gets the workload, but it's to be decided. Yeah. And then you look at Shannon's team. Sunshine and Joe Burrow sucked last week. If they suck this week, there's no way he wins this game. I'm taking Corey in this one. I don't have a blowout, but I've got it by 10 or 15 points, pretty handily. I've got Corey winning that one.
That's tough though, because if Sunshine has a good game, and if his good game is with Ingram and Thomas, they're gonna cancel each other out in that scenario.
I think Shannon's in a catch-22. Even if Sunshine does have a good game, it's almost certain that that Brian Thomas has a good game, which was going to be stabbing daggers in Shannon all game long. So
it's going to be like that meme.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got Corey.
You got Corey too? Okay.
Yep. So rolling down into. Yep. So rolling down to the next game is Doss versus Richard. This is another game where both teams featured are 0-1. Doss is projected 132.84, and Richard is projected 140.22. So I don't know who started last time. Was it you, Wes?
Corey went first. I'll go first this time.
I went first.
Yeah, Wes, you go first this time. I'll go second.
So Doss versus Richard. So my two to look out for is quarterback play between Mahomes and Prescott. I think
Yeah.
Mahomes didn't have the greatest game last week, really. And if Cincinnati is still bumming it like their slow start that they usually do, he could have a big game. And Prescott against New Orleans defense, who I don't think is that great, could have a huge game. And then I also have Jerome Ford at Jax versus James Conner against the Rams. We just saw how much David Montgomery just ran through them and Jahmyr Gibbs. So I wrote this could be a potentially very close game, but if anyone were to win big in this matchup, I'd go Richard, and Richard's my pick for this one.
Yeah, it's a great pick. I want to mention, you mentioned James Conner having the potential to eat this game because of the Rams' weak run defense. I think that this is a good game to watch running backs specifically for Arizona, not only because I think James Conner could play great, but they've got Trey Benson and Amari DeMarcado, who both got a little bit of opportunity last week. I think this will be the week that we find out because I think they're going to use that 1-2 punch like Detroit did. And I think we're going to find out a little bit more about, is it Trey Benson, is it DeMarcado, and if it is one of those two, how good are they? I'd love to see Trey Benson get a good opportunity this week. I think this is the week to do it. So I just had to mention that since you mentioned James Conner.
Well, then
I'll go next.
Yeah,
Go
then
ahead.
again with that matchup, I said the Jerome Ford versus Connor.
Mhm.
He's also got Zamir White against Baltimore's defense, and that's
Yeah.
I think Richard. This is like I said, it could potentially be close because of the other players on the team, but if anyone's gonna take it, it's gonna be Richard. If it's to be a big win.
So that brings me to my points and my prediction. I will go ahead and tell you that I have this game as the biggest blowout this week. This is my biggest blowout candidate. Okay, so biggest blowout game. I think the people to watch, it's the running backs, like you just mentioned a little bit. You touched on. Doss has Zamir White and Rashad White starting. Rashad White plays against Detroit. Zamir White plays against Baltimore. That sounds nasty. I don't want anything to do with those two running backs this week. I'm punting them. I had ETN and Mixon to watch for Richard. I think Mixon eats again. I don't think there's any way that ETN has another bad game like last week. I think Richard's destroying him. I got this game by 30 points, 40 points. It's going to be I think he's a big blowout.
Fair.
Corey?
Well, then we'll roll right into me, and we'll do a three-peat. Sorry, Doss. You losing Puka Nacua was
That hurts.
huge. Incredibly pivotal on what you can set with your flex and your running back situation.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why I also traded Rashad White going into the season, because he's got a tough first 6 games, I believe. But yes, I do have Aldridge winning this one. Not quite the biggest blowout like Sal has, but we'll get to that a little bit later. My only difference maker, my biggest difference maker in this game, it's not Prescott, it's not Henry, it's not ETN, it's not Pickens, it's nobody but AJ Brown. Monday
Big
night
matchup.
against
yeah.
Atlanta.
You got a big Philly.
AJ Brown's going to make AJ Terrell look like an idiot.
By the way, I just wanted to add to your Rashad White. You could argue his first 10 games are tough. He's Washington this last week, at Detroit, Denver, Philadelphia, at Atlanta, at New Orleans, Baltimore, Atlanta, at Kansas City, San Francisco.
Yeah,
That's a
10.
gauntlet.
Yeah. Ouch.
Then they have the bye week, and then he's got a cakewalk the rest of the year. New York Giants, Carolina, Vegas, Chargers, Cowboys will suck, and then Carolina and New Orleans again. But yeah, I don't expect him to put up the most points through the first 10 weeks.
Yeah, and like I said, my biggest difference here is going to be AJ Brown Monday night. He's already going to be winning, and then Brown's going to put him up by more.
Oh, you think he's gonna be winning before it even gets to Monday night, huh?
Yes. The only saving grace, however, because I think obviously AJ Brown's going to outscore Dallas Goedert, but Doss does have Goddard going Monday night as well. And I think that'll be the difference maker between my biggest blowout game.
Okay.
So.
Okay. No, it's definitely fair.
So I guess I get to go first on the next one, huh?
Mm-hmm. Why don't you do your game? Our game.
What's that?
Since I just went first, why don't you do our game?
You want me to do our game? Okay. Yeah, so it's clash of 1-0 against 1-0. I'm predicted 144-27. Wesley is predicted 152-69. That's an 8.5 point spread. I've got 2 players for each team that I think are really important to this game. For my side, it's Jaden Daniels and it's Isaiah Pacheco. I think if Jaden Daniels can do what he did last week, it's going to be real tough for Wesley to beat that. Because I think the rest of my team is going to pull their weight. So I'm really watching that. And then Isaiah Pacheco, he's got a average matchup this week. I think, I came into the season expecting him to be a top 5 back. I think I've told a lot of people that. I think this week he's going to kind of prove that. So
I hope not.
I hope so. And then on the flip side for Wesley, I've got Lamar Jackson and Travis Kelce. Lamar's always showing out. If he shows out, if he comes out and puts up a 30-point game like he always does, that's tough for me to overcome with Jordan Love being out and me having to start a rookie quarterback in his place. And Travis Kelce, if he puts up another stinker, it's hard to claw back from that. I think this one is going to be a banger. I think it's going to be back and forth. I have this as my closest game of the week. I also have this as the biggest scorer for the week. I've got Wesley beating me. I predicted him to beat me by 6 points.
Interesting. I followed up, Corey?
Yeah, I actually. Oh man, did you pick yourself?
Pick Wesley.
Oh, all right, cool. Because I picked you. Only because Wesley picked Shannon or Darian first week against me.
Yeah.
But no,
okay.
seriously, though, it is going to be a banger. I think it is going to be the closest game.
That's funny.
Second closest game.
Okay.
I do have.
I was about to say we all have this as the closest game because I have this as the closest game as well.
This is going to be the highest scoring game between the two. Total points between the two.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be the highest scoring one.
Yeah.
And I think the difference maker. You actually have 2 difference makers in the bad way for you, Wesley, but one significant difference maker for Sal, and it's Jay Jets is going to take flight.
I hope not.
Minnesota has an amazing front offensive line, right? I think they're top 10.
Yep.
The difference is San Fran does have an amazing front 8, right? D line and linebackers. A little bit suspect DBs, and we all know Jay Jets is, as of right now, still quarterback proof, unless he's not playing. But I think Jay Jets is going to take flight and light up the sky, per se. Yes, there's 2 cliches, but I think he's going to be
Really
the
burn 'em
biggest
out.
thing here. Yeah,
We're not
seriously, turn on the afterburners. I mean. Kick the tires, light the fires. I mean, I can keep going. We can go all night. I don't know,
Can I mute his mic?
but yeah. And your difference maker in the negatives, Wesley, for you, real quick, just the last 2 is going to be DJ Moore. I think he's going to put up another stinker, even though it's against Houston. But I don't think Caleb Williams is going to have any time to throw the ball. And when he does, he's going to. I bet Caleb. I would put it now. Williams throws 3 picks this week with Houston.
So sorry to interrupt.
All right. So you
and Aaron Jones against San Francisco's front 7.
Sal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He will not repeat last week.
Well, me and Sal picked the same quarterbacks to watch out for, obviously. Lamar Jackson versus Las Vegas. Jaden Daniels against New York Giants. I think they both have potential to put big numbers. I tried to pick something, because literally, you could have picked any matchup here, because it's going to be I do have this as the closest game. Yeah, and I picked Kamara at Dallas, depending on if he gets some receptions and breaks some free, but it's going to have to be quick because Mike Parsons is something else. And then Josh Jacobs versus Indianapolis Colts. If he decides to show out, or he didn't have a horrible game, but he didn't really have the greatest game against the Eagles.
It wasn't great. That's right. It wasn't great. Who you pick?
I literally said, since I have to pick a winner, I'm going to pick me, just because I have it as closest game.
That's fair. Yeah.
And I really think if I am the winner, it's because Allen and Jackson have huge games to cover
I think that's probably your
downfall
deciding
of some
factor.
other guys.
All right. Good pick.
So we got
Wesley,
Quinn.
you're up first.
Let's go Quinn and Lagendijk.
Yeah, let's do it. Quinn and Lagendijk.
So guys, look out for.
They're both 1-0, by the way.
Yeah. You go ahead.
Uh,
Start with that.
Both 1-0. Quinn is predicted 137.90. Lagendijk is predicted
139.37.
134.
He must have changed something. 139.37.
Oh, he did?
Now. Yep.
Okay. And what's Lagendijk? 134.60 still?
134.67. Yep.
Okay. 139.47. I'm going to change that. So he did change something, but go ahead. Let's hear it.
So I got guys to look out for. Jaden Reed. What's he gonna do? He's playing against Indianapolis. He's got a new quarterback thrown to him. And then I got CeeDee Lamb, New Orleans. He's potentially big numbers. The other two guys I got to look out for is the tight ends. Mark Andrews going to show up this week against Las Vegas, and same. What's Brock Bowers going to do against Baltimore? They might need to use tight end big time against Baltimore.
Yeah.
I wrote Herbert and Lamb will have big games, but that will ultimately be it for his side. I said Quinn will come back down to earth a little bit, but he'll still win this one.
Yeah, I don't see him scoring. Was it 200 plus again this week? Yeah.
It was close to two. It was close. It was around 200. Was it over? Was it 205 or something like that? Maybe. I don't know.
Something like that. I'll go next. I'll let Corey go last on this one. Wesley and I are stride for stride so far on this one. I took Quinn. I had this game being moderately close, but I'm really looking at Justin Herbert. I'm looking at Mark Andrews, just like you mentioned, and Jaden Reed. I don't think there's a way that Jaden Reed, with Malik Willis throwing the football instead of Jordan Love, there's no way he puts those numbers up again. But as I was just looking at the matchups, I think that he's got a good week coming to him, and I just didn't love the way that things were looking for Lagendijk. I wrote down Justin Herbert, and the reason why I wrote Justin Herbert down was his matchup. He's going against Carolina Panthers. He's going to perform this week. But I wonder if they'll get out ahead really fast, and then they'll just be running the ball all game and don't have to pass the ball as much. So it makes me nervous that they're playing Carolina for Justin Herbert. I think he'll play great, but I don't see a big week coming from him because I think they're going to just get ahead and they're just going to put the hammer down. So
was it you?
I also took Quinn.
Was it you that I said that there's a possibility that if Willis is protected enough to have some time, that he's got the arm. We know he's got the arm. We know he's got the arm. So there's potential for shots for Jaden Reed still. But there's a lot.
Oh yeah, if they give him time and he doesn't get happy feet, I think it's going to be, it could be a good game for him. But I'm nervous. Yeah. I'm nervous about whether or not Indianapolis doesn't have a great defense or a great front, but I think they're good enough to get pressure. So we'll see. Corey, who you got?
I actually have Quinn on this one.
All three of us agree.
I don't think. I know Lagendijk has the win from last week, but I don't think he can match anything point for point. Even though his roster is full of talented players and big name guys like Breece Hall and CeeDee Lamb and stuff like that. I think it's more along the lines of, I know you guys discussed Baker against Detroit, and it's probably not. He'll come back down to earth a little bit, but I don't think Cooper Kupp's going anywhere, especially with Uka out. If anything, it'll be more and more and more and more.
Aren't they playing Arizona this week, right?
Arizona, dude, like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's getting 100 points.
And then Jordan Mason playing again. Yes, Minnesota does have a pretty good defensive run game, but it's a Shanahan offense. You could put any of us back there, and we'd get, something.
Careful.
Maybe not.
Careful.
Maybe not. Careful. I don't have the long game, I guess. But anyway, and then I think.
You don't have the long game, Corey.
The biggest. That's what I said. You agree with me. And then Diggs against Chicago, and I think he's going to eat.
Sure.
But yeah, for sure, I think the biggest thing here is Cooper Cup, and just, and I don't think, I don't know, man. I just that's my biggest thing is Cup. Like I look
Yeah, it
at,
makes
like I
sense
said,
to
I
me.
look at like next roster, just Murray against the Rams. Okay, he was running for his life last week, all
Yeah.
over. So I mean, he's going to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Brees Hall got shut down by San Fran. Tennessee's front seven is not as the same, but if they're gonna if the Jets are going to be down again, potentially, I
I
mean
will
Tennessee
say
is,
though, Tennessee shut down the Bears running game.
yeah. So I
They made
mean,
they made Swift look bad. They made Herbert look bad when he was, and they made everybody look bad. I mean, the Bears are really bad though, but
yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Their
offensively.
defense, though, yeah, offensively, yeah, but the Tennessee always had a good defense, all the way
Mm-hmm.
back to the Jeff Fisher days. So, um, I don't see a world where this comes anything close to
Yeah.
the three. Was it the 5 point spread they have listed on here? There's no way.
Yep. Yep.
No.
So,
Um,
Corey, keep it
we'll
going.
scurry right on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All
Yeah,
right. I was gonna say, Corey,
scurry
keep
um,
it
right
on
on
the
down to
next
the last
match.
one.
what's Darian and
We've got
Corpy?
Darian 1-0,
This
projected 129.59 against Corpy 0-1, projected 146.66. This was the biggest spread on the week.
this is the game that I have as the closest game. Um,
Okay. Okay.
believe it. Listen, and I say it because um, Williams is going to be garbage again. Um, but I think the rest of his team is going to make up for it. But on the flip side, Bo Nix is going to play bad again,
Mm-hmm. I
right?
can
And
see that.
then the rest of his team is going to make up for it. I bet I would say 1.5 points. I think maybe two because
Wow.
of Corpy being able to start two tight ends.
So you got Corpy.
He's playing right now. He's got Laporta and Kittle in his lineup, and I don't think either one of them is going to be shut down.
Okay.
So I do have Corpy winning purely because the points he's going to get by tight end from the tight end, the double tight end play here. So
I like it.
I think it's hilarious. This is one of those ones where we're completely opposite spectrum because
that's
I
what
got
one of us is going to have a record here.
yeah,
So
yep. So Darian, Corby, Profit, uh, Ayuk versus Samuel.
Good matchup.
I think it's going to be important to watch out who has a bigger game. They're against each other in this matchup here against Minnesota. They could be split even. It could mean nothing. Um, and then I got tight ends Schultz and Laporta, or Kittle, either. But I said look for the tight ends to be big factors for both teams.
yep,
And I
that
believe
was my biggest
Corpy
note.
ultimately blows Profit out of the water this week. Biggest blowout.
Okay.
So legitimately, completely opposite here.
And the best part is because after this we're probably gonna go whoever we're gonna think is the highest score of the week and lowest. I got these two. I got Corpy as the highest score of the week out of everybody, and I got Profit as Darren as lowest score.
Okay. Nice. I'll go ahead and throw mine out there. The biggest names that I wanted to note: Bo Nix, Caleb Williams. I think they're both gonna be trash again. I think Bo Nix will play better though. Ramondre Stevenson for Darian and Saquon Barkley for Corpy. If Ramondre plays the same way as he did last week, I think that's going to be really big for Darian. I'm not confident he's going to put up those same numbers again. I think Saquon Barkley is going to put up another 30-point week. I think he's going to run away with the RB1 title for the first bit of the season anyways. He's got some interesting matchups. I've got Corpy winning this one. I've got it being about a 20-point game. I do have Darian as my lowest scorer for the week. We all took Corpy though, so.
And I think we all took Darian for lowest score of the week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'll wrap those picks up. Shannon versus Corey. Wesley and I took Corey. Corey took Shannon. all three of us took Richard to win his game against Doss. Wesley against myself. Corey took me. Wesley and I both took Wesley. And then all three of us agreed Quinn and Corpy. So this week, last week, Corey and I took every single pick the same. This week, Wesley and I took every single pick the same. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe next week maybe next week you two will pick the same picks and I'll be the odd duck out. So that's what we've got for the week. Anything else you guys want to talk about while we're still here? I know we mentioned. Let's talk about it. Waiver wire.
Who did everybody pick their highest and lowest? I know we all picked Darian as the lowest scorer. Who'd you pick for the highest score of the week?
I
I
picked
took
Trevor.
Richard. I think it was Richard for me.
Okay.
I had Trevor.
I take it back. I had Wesley. I had you.
Oh,
I had you and me as 1 and 2 scorers.
Okay.
So waiver wires. This is just a league note. Hopefully all you guys make it this far into the video. We as a group have been talking, and I think we're all in agreement on the way that we move forward with this, and we've got it in our bylaws that we don't have waivers set up the way that they are.
Yeah, so technically we have it wrong right now. We forgot to
Correct.
reset it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll have to reset it. Technically, we don't have the waivers set up the way that it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be after a guy plays, he's on waivers until Wednesday morning, and then after Wednesday morning, everybody's. Is it Wednesday or Tuesday?
It should be
Well,
Wednesday.
right now it says.
Right
Yeah.
now it says Thursday at noon, but I think it should be
Yeah,
like
but
Wednesday at 3 a.m. or whatever.
That was an oversight on the ballot. It was supposed to be Wednesday. I
Yep,
think
so-
when we originally put it together, I never changed that day.
I believe it's
But yeah,
Wednesday
supposed
at
to be
3 a.m.
Wednesday at 3 a.m.
Yep. So then everybody's free until they play. It's a free for all until they play. You can pick up whoever you want. That's what it says in the bylaws.
That's
That's
just
not
how
the
it
way
is
it's
in
set
the
up.
NFL, though. I mean, once
Yeah,
the waiver
yep.
wire is clear, it's free game for anybody.
Yep.
Mhm.
So that's that we're gonna switch that to that. Not now. We're gonna wait until the week is through. So after waivers are claimed next week Tuesday, and we'll change this on Monday, right? This will be implemented on Monday, so that way,
Yes.
or sorry, Tuesday, so that
Yeah.
way Wednesday when the claims are made, everybody that didn't get claimed is just available to pick up. So
Yeah.
that's league note.
And if-
note.
And
Go
if it doesn't fix itself after we make that change in the rules, then we'll adjust it to make it so that it works that way. So
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out one way or another.
yeah.
So that's what I've got. You guys got anything else to say before we go? It was fun meeting up with you guys
Oh,
again.
yeah.
I look forward to this. I think
Yeah.
we're gonna make it a pretty ritual thing on Wednesday night. Yeah.
Yeah, I already told the old lady Wednesday nights with the boys.
Yeah.
After I want it anyway,
Wow.
so.
That's all right.
Wow.
Wednesday nights my kids have church till 8.
Merry
So-
Christmas, you filthy animal.
Alright.
All right,
Fellas
bud.
ready? Alright.
Yeah. Have a good night, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you too.